Hi friends, Jacqueline Hollows here. I am the founder of a social enterprise called Beyond Recovery that shares the free principles in prison and other areas, but it always wasn't that way. Before my first insight into the three principles as uncovered by Sydney Banks, I pretty much white knuckled my way through life. So I believed that life had to be a struggle. I believed that I had to fight to get where I wanted, and I did okay. I had a certain level of success, but life was really hard. And I was plagued by trauma from my childhood and also from my young adult years. So that looked like insecurities, it looked like distrust of other people, and it looked like I couldn't really ever rely on anything in life. In fact, I remember thinking that the purpose of life was to just get by the best you can and then you die. I self-medicated by drinking and with relationships and with food, and that's what got me through. That's what felt like I needed to do. So my first defining insight was you can do anything. Now, that didn't come with a load of ideas and a sort of script as to what that meant. In fact, I didn't even know it was an insight. I didn't really know what insight was. And it was just this feeling of profound truth and profound possibility. It lit me up from inside. And I remember going home, I had a knee operation, I was incapacitated for a while. And I remember sitting there in pain with this knee operation, feeling on top of the world and feeling like anything was possible. And a few days later, I realised that if that's true for me, then that's true for anyone. And so that inspired me. And that meant that I wanted to bring this understanding to places where they wouldn't normally get access to things like this. So in the addictions field and subsequently in prisons. I just followed each step. My life seemed to get easier. And even though I was changing career and having an extreme change in my life, my circumstances were very extreme at that point, I felt very resilient and very hopeful. And even though I had bad days, I absolutely knew that I could come out of that. And so I followed that feeling. I did what I needed to do, which at the time was get a job and pay my rent and actually move house. And I ended up meeting someone who became my husband and starting the social enterprise Beyond Recovery. And I stopped drinking overnight. I just stopped drinking. I lost loads of weight. I lost about 50 pounds. I sort of had like this overnight transformation, although it wasn't overnight, but life just got easier, even though there were still tough things to get through. Eventually that led me to wanting to take this understanding into prison. And I'd worked in the community for 18 months, voluntary, talking to people about the understanding and about what was possible and seeing them come alive and seeing them feeling like they had more hope and more potential. And eventually that led me to prison, and then 8 years later I have worked in many prisons and shared this understanding with many people. I became really passionate about ending stigma not just the stigma outside of us, but the stigma that we experience inside. So the experience of feeling like I was unloved, that had followed me the whole of my life. And it didn't matter how many people told me that they loved me. It didn't matter how many marriage proposals I had. It didn't matter how many times people demonstrated that they loved me. I felt unloved. And there was a time when my father, who was estranged to me, got back in touch, and I sat by his bedside and I felt massive forgiveness towards him and towards myself. And I just don't think that would have been possible without understanding where our experience is coming from. I have absolute clarity that this understanding revolutionizes the field of mental health. When we start seeing what's right with people instead of what's wrong with them, we unlock the human spirit and we can create innovative solutions that can end all of society's problems. It doesn't matter what they are, because people are indomitable. They are incredibly resilient. They are amazingly impactful, have tons of potential. And this simple understanding is the key to unlocking all of that. And I spend every day being grateful to Sydney Banks and all the people who bring this understanding into our lives. Lots of love. Bye.